When I was serving in the military, in the Maltese military, I was in an exchange program with the Italian Navy in Livorno. And in the weekends, all my friends used to go back home from all over Italy, from Torino to Naples. And I couldn't afford a flight to go back home every weekend to Malta. So I spent all my time in Firenze, which is the closest city. And I actually used to travel with a bag that my grandfather gave me. And that was with me for 20 years, and it was actually made in Firenze. And when I was strolling through the streets, I met one of the old guys, and he said, quella borsa l'ha fatto il mio nonno. And I was like, whoa. So this bag that I was traveling with, which my grandfather gave me when I was around 7 for my Holy Communion, this guy identified, he said, we used to make these bags, this was probably done by my grandfather. And I was like, wow, that's quite a story, because I own nothing that is actually 20 years old except this bag. And I was curious about it, because I was seeing that these guys are actually spending a lot of time doing things, but when you think about it, it really lasts a very long time. So the investment made in this craft was really worth it. So that was the first seed that was in there, like the artistic seed. And what happened was I went back home, completed my tour in the military, and I wanted something that would root me to the ground and gives me this artistic expression. And then I thought about my grandfather's bag one more time, and I said, yeah, maybe I should do this. And what happened was I was renovating a Land Rover. I bought a Land Rover, and I did the wooden floors, and I made it as amazing as possible. And then came to the seats, and I went to the seat producer, and he's like, listen, I went to the upholsterer, I want real leather. He said, listen, we don't usually get a lot of requests. Malta is a small island. If you want this leather seats, you have to bring the leather yourself. And of course, this guy did not specify the thickness of the leather. So I got online and bought the first roll of leather, and it was too thick. I went to this guy, happy with this roll of leather. I said, listen, can we start the first seat? And he said, whoa, that is way too thick. We cannot use that. I said, whoa, crap. I just bought a very expensive piece of leather, and I have no use for it. So went home, and I left this roll of leather next to the bed. And in the morning, I never forget, this was raining, and I smelled this piece of leather, and the whole house was smelling amazing. And I was like, yeah, if I have to be stuck here, I want to be stuck here with this amazing smell. And I went on YouTube, and I started researching what I could do with a piece of leather. And I made this first wallet, which looked really shabby, really bad. But it worked. I could put in a couple of cards in. Soon after my first wallet, I started obviously optimizing the first design, and I sold my first wallet, and I realized that instead of enjoying this, I was not really enjoying this, because I don't want people to take something I spent so many hours working on. And I was like, okay, hold on, this is selling something you love, you spend so much time doing, was actually like giving out a part of you, So, and that was the moment where I said, okay, people are really appreciating what I'm doing, so I want to be of service. Being a military guy, being of service is very essential. And I wanted to fix a problem. There's so many things in the market that you can buy, go online and buy, but the problem is that usually things don't last. And the problem we have also with plastics in the ocean, spending a lot of years serving at sea, I said, okay, there's a big problem here. I realized that what was really needed is a good belt. And everyone has a waist, and that is where I started putting my focus. That led me to going to Italy and finding and sourcing the best leather for belts. And also creating a belt that is linked to the heritage. And I went to Italy and I found these amazing old craftsmen who I reached a deal with to start creating a solid belt buckle that would age with the belt itself. So the leather is aging, the brass is aging. And together they'll be basically creating something that is breathable around your waist, becomes softer. So I started to realize as well that people started wanting different details. So I started putting a lot of effort into creating something that is unique to the individual. Belts are individuals like us, and each belt is different and each person is different. So we started realizing that there's no crafters or no place where you can go and choose the variables of the belt that you'd like. So if I want a green belt with green stitching, I have to look really hard. And I believe in sustainability. So this is the byproduct of the meat industry. So this was very important for me. I was also born in a vegetarian family. But as long as 20% of the world eat meat, there will be enough leather for everyone. And the alternative is pretty much plastic. So obviously, to make good quality products, you need sourcing. So I literally started converting all my personal holidays into, I would call them extensive journeys of discovery to find the best. So here you're seeing tokenole from Japan. This is a natural, organic material that helps us seal the sides of the belt. We are creating a soft edge. Nobody wants a sharp edge. Remember, you're using your belt a lot of times a day. And so you want that feeling to be small improvement of your daily life every day. Today, everything is bought online, everything is produced in factories in low-income countries where people are used and abused for very long hours, using commercial chemicals, no love towards the trade, no particular attention. So I want to recreate, I want to revive this. I want to revive the leather crafter. So belt making involves a lot of processes, and the whole craft doesn't require any electricity. So if World War III breaks, with a few candles we can operate this entire business. Because this is, at the end of the day, what sustainability is all about. I feel that every small piece that I cut is belonging to an animal that grazed this land. And we have a spiritual responsibility to create something that is durable, high quality, and also nice enough or fashionable enough for people to want to use and prefer over plastic. We really want to spread this philosophy because also when people do the actual belt or see it being done, they will treat it with more respect. So it's kind of creating this link between whatever we wear to whatever we do, whatever we give energy to. So when we craft something, we are also spending the time and the energy to do it, so we want to share this time and energy with our clients. So people would really then start appreciating the love of details. For example, that the belt buckle doesn't move too much, that it is fixed well with a good hand stitch that will last pretty much forever. And there's a lot of details that we go into, and we'd like to also educate people. So we host an amazing initiative is we do workshops so people can come, have a glass of wine and make their own belt, make their own wallet, make their own items. And this also helps us transmute and communicate our passion for this craft. You go to a shop, the belt is always at the sides as a small accessory. Here the belt is the main actor. So whatever you do, if you master a process, that's where the magic will happen. And we want to be around your waist. This belt then would tell your story. So let me show you some of the things we do here. Okay, at the end of the day, we are artists and we love creating things that are of function. So bags carry things, and we also do a lot of non-traditional things. This is, for example, a gardening pouch, you know. And we also have the hairdresser version of this for hairdressers or for anyone carrying quick release tools. And obviously we have been known as local bag makers, and we do different bags inspired by different things. This is essentially a bike bag. The bike rod would go in here, and this was used by postmen. And obviously we adapted for today, for daily carries like mobile phones and a book or an iPad. This bag, for example, is made out of ostrich print. It's cowhide. It's clothing with a bee, which is traditional to the local. We're very famous in Malta. Malta means coming from Roman Latin called melita. Melita means honey. There's a lot of character. This is inside. It's calf skin. It's the edges are hand painted, and it's glued and stitched together with a lot of craft and love towards this beautiful, cute bag. Another amazing piece we have is the cylinder bag. This bag is made out of one solid piece of leather, and it's amazing. The story is coming from the First World War. The French needed something to carry the beurre, the metal heavy bowls, and they used to have something like this. And then after the Second World War, this was also used on the bikes, they needed to carry the tools. Then the French turned it into a fashion accessory, and it's a perfect size because it has a big load to carry. Each of these holes is hand punched and hand stitched with a saddle stitch. In the 21st century, so we mostly spend a lot of time on a laptop, and the area around us really affects how we feel, you know. So a simple leather mat of your leather choice gives you this luxurious feel. And also, in case, for example, if you have a glass of coffee and if it spills, you don't make a mess, this leather can take quite a beating. So we come up with amazing gift ideas where people can come choose any of this stuff and get it laser engraved on the spot. The idea is great gifting experiences that will last a long time and give that individual attention to whoever is receiving these beautiful gifts.